All right. Good evening. Good evening to every one of you. This is D. Leonard Hughes, and I'm so excited to be coming to you um, on this wonderful Friday evening. We're going to get right into our teaching. Let's see who all we got here. Okay, people are still. My mother's on, and others are on other. I think my daddy's on, and people on from other platforms. Okay, I am going to go to my notes, and I know that everyone had a wonderful, wonderful week because our days, our weeks are how we project them. There's no such thing as a bad day, a worse day, of this day, or that day. This is the day that has been made for you. So it's a wonderful day. Whatever happened around you, whatever happened outside of you, you keep moving on. As long as you can't change some outer circumstances, but what you can change is how they affect you or how you respond to stuff. First of all, First Peter 2:7. I was thinking one of my favorite verses, and you all heard me mention that verse that God had given us a gracious gift of life. And I was wondering today if it's such a wonderful, He'd given us a gracious gift of life, why do we struggle with it? Well, we are missing something. It's not the Christ within us, but we are missing something because First Peter 2:7 said He'd given us a gracious gift of life. And if someone give you a gift, it's not a struggle. You just receive. If I tell you I've got a gift for you, or I want to send you something, there's no struggle. You just give me the information to receive it, and then it's there. So if He'd given us the gracious gift of life, ladies and gentlemen, that lets us know that life is not supposed that we can, of course, something that hold on, yes, something that we can enjoy. So I don't know Hold on here. I got something that's going on here. Okay. Camera. Go to that. So we're gonna unpack some stuff. We're gonna unpack some stuff on this evening. Why don't you begin to share with some other folks? I'm talking about that 7-day mental diet. Now we deal with diets. There's all kind of diets. You have diet pills, you have diet this, you have diet that, and people say, I'm going on a diet. I'm going on a vegan diet, I'm going on this diet. And we skip around the main diet, which is the mental diet. You really can't even complete a physical diet if you have that program in your thinking that you're going on a diet. You're going to, because if your mind is not there, 2 or 3 days you're off the diet, then you got to start back over again. So I want you to turn to, I'm going to use a, glad that you're here once again as a disclaimer. This is not a religious platform. This is not a church platform. It's personal development platform. And we're going to deal with some things. We're going to deal with prophecy versus principles. We're going to also deal with where we are with legal marijuana. What is the approach we're going to take? How much information, how much research have we done? Most folks have done no research. They're just going off of something and they have no information. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna unpack different things like that that we're facing that has to be dealt with. So Romans 12:2 says to be not conformed to this world, meaning no longer with the superficial values and customs, but be ye transformed and progressively progressively change. I get my notes, but I didn't get all my notes, so I'm trying to read off my notes off the phone, and I somehow got it. It is real small. By the renewing of your mind, focusing on godly values and ethical attitudes, so that you may prove yourself what the will of God is, that which is good. The more you get, I think the more you go through, the transformation, that's the only way that you'll really be able to, really be able to understand what his will is. Because eternity is, the scripture in Ecclesiastes says that eternity is already written within us. So that lets me understand the blueprint of our life is already, when he's not giving us that, he's already given us the blueprint. And that's times that there's people that's gifted, prophets of a different order or whatever. They may tap into that blueprint or eternity that's already within you. And many times God will, he'll open the eyes of that seer, and they can see and give you some direction, but you're not supposed to be led by that. Let me say that. You're not supposed to live your life depending on an outside force or an outside person. If the help come through somebody, excuse me, that's fine. But you don't live your life waiting on that, waiting for this, waiting for somebody to tell you this, calling here, calling there. Everything you need is within you. They needed that in the Old Testament, that somebody had to constantly tell them something and give them direction. But we, the ability, the power to be, to do, and to have, and to hear. My sheep know my voice. You don't have to hear his voice to other people all around the world. there's an inner voice, there's an inner communication, and father, son, daughters, and every child wants to come out. Actually, matter of fact, you all, she turned 4. She turned 4 on Monday. Matter of fact, we celebrated Ashley's birthday the whole weekend, and she still think it's her birthday because she still said happy birthday to her. So we just let her ride it out because that's my baby. But the example that I'm giving is the communication. See, I was thinking about Michelangelo, different pictures. One picture he did, it was supposed to be of Jesus, and people were so old, and it never was a picture of Jesus. It was a picture of his brother. That his brother sat there, and he painted the picture and said, "Okay, this is Jesus," and people just took it. And there was another picture of, I think, Jesus in the sky reaching down. So this has been the mindset of people with their concept of relating to God from different arts, Michelangelo and different ones that did painting or religious painting. And we took that and we interpreted into this is how God is, this is how Jesus looks. And it never should have been the focus of that. Jesus came to develop Christ within him and to show us how to walk it out. And the same power, the same, S-A-M-E, the same power that was in him, the same power is in you. That's why I often say religiously, in certain religious settings, they say, well, we need more power, sin is more power. But the scripture says that Christ is the power and the wisdom of God. So if you got Christ, you got all the power you need, but you got to use it. And see, most people in religious settings, they thought that power was to emotionally express themselves, and which is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with the music, and I'm not knocking that. But what I'm saying, you've got to not get caught up with that, and there's no mental change. You can dance all day and dance all night and grab a partner and dance. It's good. But if there's not a mental change, you just exercising. And when you leave out of your religious setting, whatever it may be, there's still no changes, and you're not seeing any results. And so people walk away from their religion. They walk away from wherever their place of worship, whoever they worship, or whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm going to say that, yes, it's not a church platform. I got people from different walks of life that's looking for personal development. I was not taught. I understood personal development in the first part of my life and first part of my journey with the Christ within and becoming aware of his presence in me. But then I got away from it. I got caught up in the normal religious way of doing things and got to get away from it. So now I'm back there, and it's more understanding now than ever. 7 days. I'm going to challenge you. We are transformed by the renewing, or that word renewing in the Greek means renovating. When you renovate a house, you completely demolish it. There must be a complete renovation. And someone asks, why do you always talk about the mind? What else is there to talk about? Everything in your house, the car you're driving, the phone that's in your hand, the tablet, it came out of somebody's mind that had reached their highest expression of what they were supposed to do, be, or invent on planet Earth. You got the Edisons, you got the Rockefellers. These were the ones that opened their minds. I don't care about people, religious folks say, well, them folks ain't saved. That was the most ignorant thing I've ever heard in my life. And I used to say that we separate, that we're better than them, we're greater than them. And there's a scripture in the Bible says that Christ is all and in all. He's all and in all, but everybody have not recognized, or they're sleeping, or there's a sleeping giant. They have not recognized who lives within them. We don't have to defend God. We just live the life of God. I find people defending him and judging other people and becoming self-righteous because they feel that they're deputized, they've been deputized to judge people or deputized to, and he doesn't need any defending. He's the Christ. I mean, he made the tree. I don't live a life defending him and defending that. And I don't do that. I just live my life. And and I've got people that come on my platform that's Muslims, that's atheists, but they're interested because of my approach or my delivery of letting them know who live inside of them. And whatever they know have brought them to this point of another enlightenment. You see what I'm saying? Another enlightenment. So let's see here. What are we doing? Negative thinking is a thought process where people tend to find the worst in everything. There's some folks that never see the good in anything, but they all somehow they always see the worst. And I understand something that what I'm teaching and what I'm doing is not for everybody. It's only for the people that want to do, to be, to have, and enjoy the journey with the Christ presence within them. That picture of Michelangelo that he's, in the sky and we're trying to reach up, it messed us up. So we're looking, people are going, oh yeah, it did. That people are going, expecting him to drop in, the head. No, he's in you. And this is the awareness that people have to understand. Okay, I said that already. It is a food which you furnish to your mind or to the body that determines the whole character of your life. Let me say, I'm ahead of myself, but you're not your thoughts. And this is where we get sabotaging, or we begin to beat ourselves, or we spend a couple of days whipping ourselves because we've had a bad thought. You've had a crazy thought. Let's be honest. You've had a perverted thought. Okay, let's keep it real. Now, doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Doesn't mean that you're the worst of the worst. Doesn't mean that you don't have the Christ presence. You see what I'm saying? It's just a matter of understanding, and you got to get this, that every thought is not your thought. Fear, doubt, unbelief, lack, scarcity, poverty, low self-esteem, those are not, we have what we call in psychology, race consciousness. That means we're in a sea of a lot of fish or a lot of thoughts. And sometimes, because we're vibrating all the time, sometimes those thoughts come in our head. But you learn how to detach yourself from that thought, and you learn how to back away from it. Say, that's not my thought, because my mind is the Christ mind. I think Philippians said, think on these things that are pure, things that are lovely. That's the mind, the Christ mind. You don't have to pray for the Christ mind. You don't have to ask for the Christ mind. We have the mind of Christ, and let this mind be in you. This is my area. I'm the mind hacker. And I enjoy what I do. I enjoy teaching this. This resonate with me. A lot of other stuff years ago that I was never resonated, because it didn't make some of it didn't make logical sense. And I know we go beyond logical, but it just didn't make any sense. And it's in this that I'm seeing every week I am manifesting results, because I program my mind every week to manifest results, whether it's favor, whether it's money. My wife and I was doing some business transaction, and we needed this particular company to come and finalize everything. And talking, and the lady got sick, and They made another schedule, and then that person got, and it kind of, but I had to catch myself because it's the first thought that triggers us or triggers our emotions to different direction. So thank God for my wife. She's a wonderful person. She immediately got in my ear. Just okay. And even when I talked to the person that's handling, she said, oh, things happen. But she said, let me get on it right away. And she got on it yesterday, and we got it taken care of today. That's manifesting. It's not the big things. It ain't the, I got $1 billion. Okay, that's happening. But learn to understand the signs. Only time you look back is when you're connecting the dots. And understand the signs that you're moving into your manifestation. I've learned something. And this is not my notes, but yeah, I just flow. I don't force it, but I flow. You understand that you just keep going. You keep going, okay? I was saying something else and it slipped my mind. Oh yeah, okay. And when you're manifesting, sometimes it's not big things. It's the small things on your journey to let you know, because a sign, excuse me, there is a scripture that said these signs, and we thought those signs were, this and that, and then, but it doesn't just take one word. But one sign was the day that was able to get that business taken care of. That was a sign because we already started manifesting the main thing. But then on the journey, there's different things happen. And I know it's so hard for us to grasp that and we're doing business and we're transitioning and we're transacting, that things change. We don't like it. And sometimes we are attacking, and I thought about this today. Sometimes we are attacking the change, and the change is for the better. Can I say that? Make sure that your attack is not towards the change. Okay? Because things going to change. We're changing. There's a metamorphosis. There's a transformation. You will never see your wish desired or your heart's desired until you change your mindset. It's very simple. It's a very simple answer, but it takes a lot of mental work. And faith without works. What works? You're working in your thought process. You're working your confession. Because you're nothing but word, yourself clothed in flesh. In the beginning was God, the word was with God, the word was God, okay? And so that's all a part of our makeup. So what you say starts your journey. I need some people that would go on a journey. They say, Dr. Hughes, for 7 days, tonight, I'm signing in and I'm signing up for that 7-day mental diet that you will not. Now, that doesn't mean a thought or thoughts will not come. Doesn't mean that. But you cannot entertain or dwell on your thought. Thoughts gonna pop up. All kind of thoughts. Let's be real, y'all. Well, that's why I like my platform, not a church platform. I can just be real. There are thoughts that come. There's perverted thoughts that come in your mind. There's thoughts of giving up. There's thoughts of suicide. There's thoughts of hitting somebody. There's thoughts of slapping somebody. Somebody run in front, drive their car in front of you. There's a thought. But you're wise and smart enough not to carry that thought out. I just had that thought. There's all kind of thoughts come, but that's not your thought. If you're dealing with thoughts of perversion and you know that's not you, that's not a part of your makeup, then don't identify with that thought. Look at that thought from a distance. Now, you got to look at it. You can't just repress it. You can't just push it under the rug. You look at it and you say, that's not my mind. That's not my thought. I don't know where you come from, but you got to go back where you come from. And that's how I deal with different thought patterns that come, because we're doing big things. And the more you expressing, the more you are manifesting, challenges come. But the kingdom suffered violence. But the violence taketh by force. You take it, it's mine. Pray believing, you have received, and your mindset is that it's mine. This is the battle. This is what real prayer is. Because, and I'm gonna get on. I'm gonna get to that later. I'm gonna talk about creation is calling you. The universe is calling you. Scripture says that creation, of which is still the universe, different time, different words, is waiting for the manifestation. So the creation is waiting on you. It's waiting on you to manifest as sons and daughters of Christ. We're manifesting our religion, but we're not manifesting Christ because we're making ourselves like we're better than other folks. You know, I've been in certain settings, and I mentioned different ones like Elon Musk. I love him. He's buying Twitter. I mean, he doesn't stop, and you never stop. You never stop. Many of you stopped on one little job, and that's where you've been for years, and you're miserable. You're about to just blow up on the inside because you want to evolve. You want to expand, but you don't have it up here. God bless you, Apostle Jordan Clark. You don't have it up here. What direct? You have a choice. And knowledge gives you more. Knowledge gives you more, I want to say. The more knowledgeable you are on all areas. Some folks just only know the church. They only know the Bible. The Bible can't tell you how to fix a car. You see, it's the greatest book. It's our base. Even though it's not a church or religious platform, it's still, the Bible is still my base, and it's still a Christ awareness platform. But the point that I'm making is that when you're trying to make personal decisions, you're limited because your knowledge is limited. If you're making decisions in your business, you're limited because your knowledge is limited. I study all areas all day long, even between, looking at my wife, looking at my daughter. I'm in books of personal development and biographies of people, and that encourages me that if they can do it, and most of those billionaires, because Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. In the world. He don't even own a house. He's staying in one of SpaceX got a $50,000 house, I think, and he rents that. So it's not the things that we put our eyes on. You understand what I'm saying? He's got Twitter. He's buying just about Twitter, and he's constantly moving. And this is what you do in life. But many of you are so religious that you're suffering, you're struggling. Because all of the stuff that was told to you and was told to us, some folks believe that that's how we got where we are. No, it messed me up. No, I'm having to get all of that religious stuff out of my mind and live the life of Christ. Because what you're seeing in a lot of religion has nothing to do with the presence of God. First of all, they haven't even located God. They're worshiping the God of Michelangelo, the picture of Jesus, or the picture when he was rich and reaching down and men. That's a picture. That's not truth. That's art. But again, we fix in our mind that we got to get him to come down and meet us halfway in our prayer life. Let me move on. And I want to talk about Romans 7:23. But I see another law at work in me, waging a war against the law of my mind. Now, I'm going to get a chance to get into that in another subject, but I'm trying to unpack this. The law of mind. There's a war. There's a new law of mind, and there's an old conversation. There's a scripture that says, put off the old conversation and the old man, which is the old mind, because man is nothing but mind clothed in flesh. You take a mind from a man, he's nothing but dust. You take a physical challenge a person may go through, and they still have a great mind. I can't help it. This is my area. And it's helping people. I've got clients. And if any of you, you say, well, Darryl, I'm trying to, get into this thing, but I got some questions. You can inbox me. I'm available. Now, wait on. You say, Darryl, I need some answers because this what you're teaching is resonating with me. It's resonating with me. So roll with it. Now it's going to take some. I told one of my clients this week, I said, now this thing, it works, but only 10% get to the point of success because the other 90%, they don't want to do the work of mental work. See, they told us, I said all the time, go to school, get a degree, get a job. That's the only way you can live. And come on. People with great degrees, I have degrees, but degrees doesn't make you a millionaire. Most millionaires are billionaires. Mark Zuckerberg, and they don't even finish school, but wealth is here. Wealth is 90% right here, and 10% the mechanics that we do. It's yours. But people in religion have put it in a far reach. And some of you say, well, forget about trying to get there because it's so hard. But knowing that there's a power that's flowing in you and that Christ lives in you. The scripture said Jesus Christ lives within you. And this is the only awareness I'm trying to bring to people, that his presence. So this 7-day, Apostle Clark, this 7-day mental diet is not to dwell or entertain any negative thoughts, self-sabotaging thoughts of that. Now, the thought may come, but the challenge for the mental diet is not to dwell on it and not to entertain it. And somebody say, oh, that's going to be a challenge because these thoughts just come. I know they come out the clear blue sky. I know you at work, you're working, you're peace, and all of a sudden it comes. You in your car, the thought come. You in your bed, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, you wake up. There go mind. Because mind wants to keep going. Mind needs direction. That's why Philippians said, think on what? Think on these things, giving a direction, things that are pure, things that are just, things that are lovely. So these are the areas, and people they don't want to talk, they don't want to hear about the mind. They want something else. They want an outside force. They want an outside presence. They want an outside God to do something for them. And everything, it's a book called Acres of Time. It's a great book. That everything you need to get what you want is inside of you, but it starts with changing your mindset and the way you feel about you, the way you see you, the way you feel about God, and the way you see the Christ within you. Let's move on a little bit more here. You choose the thoughts which you allow your mind to dwell on. That's what the 7-day mental diet. You choose the thoughts that you're going to dwell on. If it's a thought of fear, I'm not dwelling on that. If it's a thought of lack, unhappiness, or sometimes you got so much, we have like 70,000 thoughts in our head. So we don't catch every thought, but some thoughts come through, and when a thought comes through, we find ourselves in a negative state of mind. And what's going to happen? What's wrong? I don't know. What you're somewhere in a state of mind that doesn't feel good, that you don't like, but you can't pinpoint what it is. Something subconsciously have come forth up front because thoughts, then feelings, then action, then character, or character, then habits. That's how. So that's why the saying say you change the thought, you change it. You cannot change your environment until you change your mind. You can't change your environment. And everything, oh God, I hope you catch it. Those that's on tonight. Apostle Clark, everything is environment. Wherever I go, I'm looking for environment. If I go to a restaurant and I don't feel the environment, I get out of there. I don't care how well other people talk this good. If I don't feel it, because I'm about environments. At home here, we have an environment that we've set. Go beyond what you're trying to do. Go beyond that. Some of you stuck. I mean, that's another lecture I'm going to do on being stuck. You're stuck. You've been stuck 3 or 4 years, and you're blaming this one, and you're blaming that one, and you run into this one, you run into a prophet, you run into a psychic, you run into a seer, and everything you need is within you. And I'm not knocking the prophets and the seers and the psychics. I'm not knocking that. They're of different orders, and there are some people that they have help. But what I'm saying, you don't have to depend on that. You don't have to depend on that. You can begin to understand things for yourself. Okay? Let's move on. John 7:24 says, judge not according to appearances. It appear, your account appear to be broke. But if you look at that as a reality, it'll stay in the negative. But you have to look at that it may be a minus $1 in my account, or $2, whatever it may be. I'm not seeing that. That's not my, oh, come on, somebody. That's not my reality. That's maybe a fact, but it's not. My reality is he promises to supply every one of my needs. And that's why every day, regardless, I said, every need is met, every bill is paid, and I'm debt free. You say it. I don't care how it appear to be. You say it. You've been saying everything else. You've been saying all the negative stuff. You know, and we find ourselves, somebody call you, what's wrong? What's wrong? We are on autopilot to negativity. We're on autopilot that something has to be wrong or something is going to go wrong. So why should I get excited? Why should I be excited? Because at the end, something goes wrong and I'm not doing nothing but fooling myself. Don't live like that. It's about mental toughness. Somebody say that with me. Mental toughness. I want to say it again. Mental toughness. And that you trust the Christ. You trust the Christ and the universe to work together. Because whatever nature we're going to get, it comes from creation. The Christ part, that's the Father Spirit. The Spirit has to be in everything, but everything he does, he's going to have to use something from earth. So it works together. Victor! Hey, preacher. Mental, thank you. Mental toughness. That whatever your dream, whatever your desire, whatever your vision, whatever, you can do it. Who told you you couldn't? Who told you you couldn't be it? Who told you, hello, Denise Brown? Who told you you couldn't have it? Who told you that? It was one of the greatest speeches was of Steve Jobs, and I recommend many of you to look at that commencement speech that he made. Don't allow the clutter from other people to crowd your mind. It's a wonderful commencement speech, one of his last speeches of Steve Jobs, and I always recommend, especially my patrons and people that I'm clients that I'm coaching on personal development. Read that Steve Jobs commencement speech. It's a wonderful speech. I like these great minds. Now, religious people, is they saved? Is they that? What are you saved? Just because you're in church, people don't think, come on, leave people alone. We don't know where Elon Musk is. We don't know their walk with God because they're not coming out and jumping and shouting like we do. Billy Graham didn't do all of that. He just stood in one space. And even with Billy Graham, he knew his area. He knew his, him and Martin Luther King had a little, not bad words, but Martin Luther King felt that the influence that Billy Graham had, that he should have dealt with more racism. But he told Martin Luther King, that's your area. Salvation is my area. You've got to, I know, Brother Victor, mind hacking and transforming minds. I love it. I love it. Because when your mind is hacked, you can be all that he wants you to be. And you can have all that you want to have. See, religion made us feel like we couldn't desire nothing. We can't have nothing. It's just we're robots. He said he'll give you the desire of your heart. He said he'll give you the desire of your heart. But religion has made us feel, they don't need to even design because it's up to him. That's not true. He has given us faith. And without faith and one of the greatest confidence of faith I have is that I'm Abraham's seed. I'm joint heirs with Christ. And I have the Christ mind. Abraham, them boys, they tapped into something. And again, the manifestation and demonstration that they saw in the Old Testament is different now. You didn't find, because his mission was different. You didn't find a lot of things happening in the New Testament, and you found a lot of the intervention that he would come down and he would do this and he would do that. But in the New Testament, you saw a transferring of power. I have given you all power to tread upon serpents and scorpions. That don't mean just in church. I mean even in business. We got power over the creep. You find creeps in business. I just like throwing that in. You understand what I'm saying? What do you want? My desire, my wife and I desire, and she's in real estate on a different level, but we also wanted short-term leasing. Because it started off staying in it. See, let me tell you something. Everywhere you find yourself is a sign that you're headed where you want to go. We did not know during that time that this Airbnb stay that we were doing was putting the Airbnb frequency and desire and the mechanics of it. It was preparing us. So we started here. We started other places. And we've already set goal to do about 10 of them before the year is over. We don't have to ask God, Lord, come on down. No, we desire. Now, when we plan, he's our co-pilot. I mean, he's our co-pilot, a business partner. So we involved him, but it's okay to desire. It's okay to step out. My desire was personal. When I started getting into personal development, I'm like, oh my God, I love it. Why did I love it? Why did I love it? I loved it because I began to see, personal development taking place in me. And the more personal development I begin to develop, God is not going to come down and develop you. You got to transform your own mind. And that word renew means renovation. Got a few more minutes. Train yourself in the habit of thought selection and thought control. Make up your mind to devote 1 week. I need some people that would vote 1 week of a mental diet. You watch what you say, because you can't have a mental diet and saying something, because of the abundance of the heart or the subconscious, because the heart is subconscious, the mouth speaketh. So I need some folks that would say, hey, Carolyn, for the next 7 days, I'm going on a mental diet. When thoughts of doubt, fear, your mind will tell you 30,000 times that we have 70,000 thoughts, 60 to 70,000 thoughts. Well, they can count it, but that's what your mind will tell you 10,000 reasons why you can't. 10,000 reasons why it won't work. 10,000 reasons why you should try again. That's your mind. Mind is doing what it's supposed to do. And what we've got to do is redirect our mindset. If you do exactly what I tell you, you're going to see tremendous results. Aren't you tired of just, I forgot what they call it, beating the woods or I don't know what it is, and there's no results. You don't high five, you don't turn around, and ain't no results. That would drive, I look at some of this stuff, religious stuff, and I said, this would drive me crazy. It'd be boring. I come up and I go, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Danita, I didn't see you. Because we're on 5 platforms, so if I don't call your name, I shouldn't do that. Because I'm on other platforms. If I don't call somebody's name, they may feel that, he left me out. So if I don't call your name because I can't see you, and I can't do this, and I can't be on different platforms. What is meditation? Meditation, that word, if I meditate, that's something that we've never been taught in the religious sectors. Eastern people, they know how to meditate. We don't know how to meditate. How many times throughout the day do you quiet your mind and do you do your breathing? You're just going. You're on autopilot. Most of your day, and stay with me, got a few more minutes. Most of your day have been on autopilot. You haven't directed your mind nowhere where your design or your wish is already fulfilled. You've been on autopilot. You got up, took a shower, ate. It may not be your exact order. You ran here, you did this, you did that. Now you're home. But you fed yourself, but there's no mental diet. If you're not in control of your thoughts, you're not in control of your life. I need somebody to write that down. If you're not in control of your thoughts, well, how? And in the battle, how can I get control of my thoughts? Because I can't get in my head. If I can get in my head, I could do it. It's a wonderful journey once you learn the principles. You cannot stop those thoughts. Something that happened in the past, you can't. It's not going to go away. So don't live a life waiting for those thoughts of those emotional experiences, emotional hurts or pain. It doesn't go away. But you learn how to master those thoughts of fear, unbelief, and doubt and things you've been through. But if you're waiting on those thoughts to never show up again, it's not going to happen. But the more, and don't repress those thoughts. When a thought comes of fear, doubt, unbelief, or something like that comes in your way, recognize. First of all, I'm going to say it again, recognize that this is not my thinking. If it's a thought of perversion, let's be real. You have to say, this is not my thought. It's not my thing. If it's a thought of slapping somebody, you have to immediately say, that's not my mind. That's the natural mind. See, we never were taught to distinguish the two. We just think. And people don't really think. I'm going to take that back. People don't really even think. So you've never been taught how to get in your head, and everybody else is in your head but you. And that's not in my notes, and I never thought about that. Everything, everybody, social media, Instagram, CNN, NBC, CBS. That's why I don't watch a lot of news. I may watch news in the day, only 5 minutes, because it's most of it we know is fake news. You can't go on because CBS says one thing, Fox says something, somebody else says something, somebody saying. If you watch all those different networks, you will be confused. So they're going to do what they're going to do, and they're not going to give us all the information. What did Danita say? If you're not in control, thank you, Danita. If you're not in control of your thoughts, and you're trying to say, how can I get control of my life? Get control of your thoughts. Who is choosing these thoughts? Are these thoughts true? There's one scripture that says, try the spirit or try the thought, because the spirit has to be a thought in order for it to be effective. It must turn into a thought, and a thought must verbalize. So try the spirit or try the thought by the thought, or try the spirit by the spirit. I paraphrase it. So are these thoughts serving me well? Are these thoughts I've chosen? And every thought, this is very helpful in spiritual warfare and mental warfare, knowing that every thought, we live in a sea of thoughts. It could be a thought from across the street, because everything vibrates. And there are things in conversation that we hear people talk about, or this and that, and they go on, but the record is still playing. Everybody else is in your head but you. Because if they're in your ear, they're in your head. When are you going to get in your head and get behind the steering wheel and take control of your life? You're riding in the back seat. And you say, I can't wait to get out of here because they're going everywhere I don't. You ever run in the back seat with somebody and they're going here and they're going there, and you ask them to take you somewhere and they didn't even tell you that they had 50 places to go. And so you're in the back seat. Well, that's how you are in your life. Everything is driving, everything is behind the steering wheel, and you're just in the back seat looking. You're just an extra in your own movie. When are you going to step up? It's not the thoughts that come into your head that matters, but only the ones that you choose, you entertain. The thoughts that you that you choose. My thoughts is something I see all the time. My thoughts. And somebody wonder, why is he always talking about the mind? Tell me something else to talk about. The phone you're holding came out of somebody's mind. The chair you're sitting on, the bed you're laying on, the table you're at. And in the whole kingdom thing, it's about a mindset. We have the mind of Christ, but they never told us how to tap into the mind of Christ. They never told us how to use our mental faculties and connect that with, why did he give us mental faculties if he just wanted us to sit back and depend on him? That's the most stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Why would he give us power if he just wanted to totally depend on him? He told those disciples in Luke 17:6, he said, you speak to the sycamore tree and it will. He didn't say, yeah, they wanted him to do it. Excuse me. They wanted him to do it. And he stood back and he said, it's not in my notes. I don't think it is, but let's turn there. And I turned right to it. Right to it. Luke 17:6. And the Lord said, I'm reading from the Amplified Bible, if you have confident, abiding faith in God, even as small as a mustard seed, you shall say to the mulberry tree, be pulled up by the roots and be planted in the sea. And if the request was in agreement with the will of God, and we know his will is success, health, happiness, it will obey you. He did not come for us to depend on him per se. He came to show us that we have authority. And this was his whole thing with it. And the church have missed it. We've missed it. They told just totally depend on him. That's not true. He taught those disciples how to believe for themselves. Ephesians 5, we are co-laborers with him. He's working with you. He can't do it without you, and we can't do it without him, because he that is joined to the Lord is one spirit. Is one spirit. Oh, I need somebody just to let me know you're enjoying it. People often find that starting of the mental diet seems to stir up all sorts of difficulties. I got to cover that. It seems as though everything begins to go wrong at once. When you start this transformational process, mental, you're going to see things that's going to come up. That's going to, like, where did that come from? When I started the journey of mental diets, watching my thoughts, stuff came up that was so trying and fearful and doubtful. And I said, where did this come from? But I had to go through that to get to the place to help understand what people go through. So now I understand that you can win the battle in the mind. You can win the battle in your mind. You can win the battle in your mind. You can win the crazy battle in your mind that's seemingly that's driving you crazy, that you're just existing and that you're on autopilot. And you said, I might as well forget it. Why try? Because something always goes wrong. Grow up. It's going to go wrong if you don't try. So you might as well try and get what you're going to get. Just about getting ready to go, y'all. But yeah, well, something always go wrong. That's all a part of success. It's a scripture that says if you can't walk with the footman, how you going to run with the horseman? If you, I think I may do part 2 on this, but I'm going to do a teaching on critical thinking. Because corporations are looking for people that understand critical thinking and that can solve problems. What makes you more valuable to a company, to your job, is that you're able to solve problems. But you're so caught up in your little problems, that's not even a problem. Most of you don't have a problem. You just need to make some decisions. That's what you don't have. I got all these problems. If you got a lot of problems, that ain't normal. You got 10 or 15 things going on, that ain't normal. Most of that's other folks' stuff that you involving yourself with. And it's taking your energies because you're trying to help folks with their life and they're not trying to help themselves. They say they are, but everything they're doing is showing you that they're not trying to help themselves. So what you've got to do, that's when you have to give an extra sign and back off. This is the way I do. I've got clients. I've got paid clients. I've got some that I've taken upon myself to do a complimentary therapy with them. You see what I'm saying? But it's only people that I know that's ready. Now, others, as a professional, is $125 an hour, and I do it like 10 or 12 weeks. But there's others that I reach out, but they have to be on point. They have to be on point because I don't have time. Your time is so important. You've wasted so much time worrying about. Why do you worry about what people say? Why do you worry about what people think about you? They ain't thinking for themselves. They ain't thinking about you. And you live a life trying to impress them. Everything you do, I got to impress. You're impressing people that don't like you. And if they don't like you, if they're not for you, I don't care what you do, you can't impress them. You can't impress them. All right. So start listening closely. I want to say this in just a few more minutes. Start listening closely to the chatter voice in your head. 2 things. Watch who's in your ear and watch the chatter voice that's in your head. Oh, it's there. But you didn't know that. You thought it was just a part of you. And you're beating yourself because you're having these crazy thoughts that's not even your thoughts. But you've attached yourself to them because you weren't taught different. Same thing I did. I had thoughts. I had addictions. Had thoughts of addictions, and I had addiction, not just a thought, but I carried it out. But it was from these teachings, what I'm teaching you, that I got free. No rehab, no, 12 steps? 12-step programs. That's good. I don't knock that because I recommend that for some people. But I went within. This is why I teach so strongly about the Christ mind, because once you tap into that Christ mind, everything else begins to flow. You don't have to force it. When I went through a battle with prostate cancer, it was my mindset, because I know I was already here. I never prayed for God to heal me. I never asked nobody, no prayer partner for God to heal me, because I realized the truth. That by his stripes, I'm already here. By his stripes, ye were healed. And this is a solid foundation. You got to stand on that word and believe that word and don't judge by the appearance. It may appear that you ain't got no joy. Well, I don't. Well, go in business for yourself. Start selling candy apples. Yes, there's something you can do. What's in your house? When the prophet came and the lady, her husband that was dead, and the creditors were coming. This is a business principle I like. That her husband was coming to take her children to work the debt. He asks a question, what do you have? There's something in him, because I'm talking to people, and I feel the prophetic. I'm talking to people that's jobless. There's something you can do, whether it's DoorDash, whether it's Uber, whatever's out there. You have to do what you have to do. You have to go and survive. I ain't gonna drive no Uber. We don't want to make money. I ain't gonna do that. You don't want to make money. I noticed something. I love candy apples. And a few months ago, I went through a period that I wanted a candy apple. Couldn't get it. Couldn't get it. Said, oh, that's for the fall. I'm giving somebody an idea right now. They said, oh, that's for the fall. You can't. I went to the stores. I went to the candy stores. I went to the chocolate store. I went to another candy store in the mall and said, we don't have it. That's in the fall. I said, oh, really? So I started asking people, you like candy apple? Yeah, I haven't had one in a long time. I started asking some of the neighbors, you like candy apple? Oh, I wish I had a candy apple. I said, okay. So what I started doing is making candy apples and giving them away. Now, one of the neighbors asked me, when are you going to make more candy apples? Well, but you know what I'm saying? So, sell them, sell them for $5, 5 for $20. You see what I'm saying? So there's something you can do to generate money. There's something I'm talking to somebody. If it ain't nothing, you know how to sew. Let folks know you do alterations. If not, learn it real quick. Yeah, I need something. Well, I do alteration. You do alteration? Yeah, I got a dress. They're going to tell somebody. And before you know it, you got dresses, pants, suits, and shirts piled up. And you start complaining. I don't know what I'm going to do with all this. People complain. When it's going good, they complain. They're going bad, they complain. They get desires in their heart, they complain. Some folks just got to complain in spirit. Stay away from them. When you find people like that, you run. Any negative on this 7-day mental diet. That means you're not going to let nobody feed you with nothing negative. If they come off negative, I got to go. I'm going to talk to you later. Don't try to change them. Don't do that. Just get off the phone. Just get off the phone. But you got to do something. You're sitting home. I ain't got no money. You can be a substitute teacher. They pay $150 a day. You can go when you want. What happens is you have to, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, I apologize. I don't use the word sorry. Look up the definition of sorry, okay? What you have to do is you have to, hold on, y'all. Hold on 1 second. You have to understand that this is a time of living. 20, I think it was 2021, 2021, literally 50 to 60, my numbers may be a little off, but it's up, in that area. People, 50, 60,000 people started their own business. We were going to Wildwood, New Jersey, to take the baby Sunday because it's a popular spot, and we were going there. And we got there, it was dead. And this place used to have 9 million people a year come. And we got ready to park. The parking lot was open. So I asked the guy, I said, what's going on? He said, we can't get folks to work. The attractions and the rides don't open until May 20th or something like that. He said, they're paying $17 an hour. So if people are not working, people are making the money. So if you're sitting there without a job, what are you going to do? Keep moping and groping, but you don't have a job. What are you going to do? Sell candy apples, sell popsicles. Do like Sweetie Pie did. She sold sandwiches at the back of her car. Man, we're too lazy. We want something to drop in our lap or just drop in our front door. It doesn't work like that. You got to make it do what it do when it don't want to do. All right. Once again, let me know. I want y'all to inbox me. I know there's many that do, but I need others to inbox me. Let me know you're enjoying these lectures. I think I'm gonna stay on this. I'm gonna stay on this. I always say I'm gonna do part 2, but then I do something else. But I really think. Notice. Okay, let me say this here. Notice when a thought arrives. I already told you. Listen closer to the child voice in your head. Notice when a thought arrives. Clearly identify its nature. Is it potentially negative, or is it an emerging thought? Once spotted, observe its presence. Do not judge it. Do not entertain it or dwell on it. Do not get caught up in it. How many times a thought comes and you get caught up in it? And before you know it, 20 minutes, you're supposed to be watching a movie, and you 30 minutes into this negative thought. And it dawns on you, and then you go back to the movie. But then you see what I'm saying? You gotta, we have the mind of Christ. Okay? It's wonderful. Now, if anybody, for any reason, want to sow, I'm not going to take, let me put, I can say that because it's my company, D. Leonard Hughes Personal Development Institute. If you want to give a donation, all you have to do is take your phone. You know how you do it. Put your camera up there, and it goes right to our Cash App, if you like to do that, and give a donation. We're building a company. There's 197 countries, and my desire is to take this company all around the world in mind hacking. Not another church, not another this, not another that, but letting people know you have the mind of Christ, and this is how you tap into it. And I've got people from different platforms, I've got Muslims, I've got Buddha, I've got people from different, but they all recognize the Christ. Victor, they all recognize the Christ. I've got an atheist guy that was completely atheist, but I want him. I didn't push religion down there. I just kept teaching about the Christ and the Christ mind. And he said, wait a minute. And he heard me say, this is not a church, but he was swiping when he heard me say, this is not, I'm trying to, come on, stay over here. When he heard me say that this is not a church platform or religion, he stopped. He said, okay, I can listen to this then. And he listened. He came on again. He heard me say, it's not a church platform. But he started just listening. And he called me on Messenger. He said, hey, listen, hey. I like what you're teaching. I never heard it like this. He said, you mean Christ is in me? I said, Christ is all and in all. He said, so I'm aware of it now. He said, everything else, they couldn't get me because I saw nothing but this one fighting this one and this religion fighting this religion and this organization. He said, I don't want that. We've got to take a different approach to winning people. Okay? It's been a wonderful thank you. Those that are sowing, you know who you are. Those that are donating, however word you want to use, sowing or donating, I appreciate it. But help me build this company. Help me build this company. I've got an app that I'm working on. It's going to bring billions of dollars. It's an excellent app. You got to do something. Don't be afraid to desire. And you plan. And if there's anything different, Christ, he does exceeding abundantly. So you give him permission to go beyond. But desire. Make it do what it do. Can I say it again? Make it do what it do. And you enjoy your life. Okay. I'm going to pick back up on this. Hold on. Invite a positive thought. For example, notice what's right about the situation or the person. Think about how you can help or contribute, and you dwell there. So when a negative thought comes, you go somewhere else and you dwell there. Don't sit. Don't get caught up in it. Don't find yourself ruminating in it. Hour, 2 hours, you're still there. People talking to you, and you're not even listening because you worried about something or you fearful about something. Get that out your head. There go mine. When I find myself going there, Victor, you on, I say, okay, there go mine, but I'm not going with you. Okay? It's been wonderful. I mean, it's really been a wonderful experience. And what I do, I love coming on. I love teaching it. I love hacking folks' mind and get them from where they are to where they need to be. Okay? I'm on every Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in. Listen, I need y'all to do something for me. I'm grateful for all these platforms, grateful for Facebook, grateful for YouTube. We're building our YouTube channel. When I go off, I need you to go to D. Leonard Hughes Personal Development Institute, and I need you to subscribe and share that page You have to get a certain amount of followers before you can do the things you want to do. I've got some people that want to help me do some things, but I need to get my subscribers up. I need you to help me do that. Okay. Thank you for your sewing. Listen, Dina and Hughes here said thank you for listening. Have a great evening.